Hey, HopeQuest family, Troy and Melissa here, and as always, we are grateful for you joining us on Hope for Today. Sorry about the last couple of weeks. We've had some technical difficulties, and even today, having some technical difficulties.
Gremlins.
I don't know what it is about the enemy not wanting these to go out, but anyway, we're grateful that you join us week in, week out, and in fact, if you would watch all the way to the end today, I've got a big question for you. I need your help. We need your help. Doesn't involve giving us any money or giving us anything, but we have a huge question. So please listen to the end and let us ask that. And speaking of questions, I had a buddy ask me recently about just this whole idea that you and I talk about a lot, which is getting curious and how curiosity leads to connection and relationship. And he said, Troy, I got curious and it backfired. She didn't open up, she just got more mad. And he said, Troy, curiosity killed the cat, and curiosity is about to kill me. What am I doing wrong? And part of what I told him was oftentimes not all questions are created equal.
That is true.
So Melissa, walk us through the right way to ask questions when we really want to get curious about someone's heart.
So I think it's really important to define curiosity first, right? Because curiosity, as we're talking about it, when we talk about getting curious, is genuine interest in another person's heart, rooted in acceptance and love, not judgment, right? So if I'm truly curious about you, I really am open to hear what's going on in your heart, your feelings, your thoughts, your fears. And I'm not going to judge you or dismiss them.
And the goal of this?
The goal is connection. I want to know you and be known by you so we can be connected.
Okay.
So that's curiosity.
Okay.
Sometimes, though, what happens is that instead of getting curious, I'm really afraid, and my questions come across as an interrogation.
Okay. So what I think is curiosity may be actually coming across as an interrogation.
Right.
Okay.
So the goal in interrogation, of course, as we know, is to prove somebody's guilty.
Right.
It's based on suspicion of guilt of something, and my agenda is getting information so that I can stay safe. I can be protected. I can get to the bottom of the truth so I can stay safe.
So with interrogation, knowing the facts will help me stay in control and stay safe.
But as we know, being in control isn't connecting.
Right.
It's disconnecting.
Right.
So, as we've talked about this in our relationship, because you tend to be the one who's a little more distrustful and mistrustful, you're the one who questions more. So talk a little bit about how do you know when the difference between being curious about my heart and interrogating me?
I mean, sometimes I'm aware. I certainly recognize that curiosity connects us and interrogation actually disconnects us. But for me, when my emotions get up and running and I'm afraid or I'm frustrated or I'm overwhelmed or there's some negative emotions, sometimes I just slip into what you lovingly, affectionately, admirably call
not admirably
the lawyer mode.
Yes.
And when I start asking questions, really, sometimes I'm not even aware that I'm asking them, but I know my motive is simply to get information to either prove my point or to somehow get back in control of the situation, back in control of my emotions so that I feel safe. So let me ask you this. When I get into lawyer mode, how do you feel?
Well, it's not connected. There's a feeling that happens for me, like I'm in trouble. I've already been judged. Like the questions are all about trapping me.
Right.
And so I feel attacked and defensive and scared and often powerless. That you've already judged and you've made your decision, and so therefore there's
just hopeless. It's pointless.
There's nothing I could say.
Right, and your reaction is oftentimes to defend yourself.
Right.
And again, that just pushes us into our cycle, and then it's living victorious in Jesus
every day.
As we talk about. What's it feel like when I am able to approach you from a genuine place of curiosity?
Well, that feels totally different, right? That feels like, oh, I love Melissa, and I'm really curious about what's happening in her. You care to know me, and it's at that point it feels like it's about me, not about you.
And you're able to, at that point,
relax, be vulnerable, share. It feels life-giving, right? It feels connecting and not lonely, and intimate.
You know, and it's interesting, interrogation, it seems like the focus is on facts and information. And curiosity, the focus is upon hearing the other person's heart.
Right.
And sometimes that helps me to realize, hey, Troy, you're looking for facts here, which means you're slipped into the wrong direction. What about Melissa's heart? What's going on in Melissa's heart? Because even if you have done something that's genuinely hurtful to me, it would help me to hear your heart and understand your heart far more better than to understand the facts of what you were thinking or what unfolded. So let me ask you this, Melissa. What can we do? What does it sound like? What are the words that someone would use? What would it sound like if someone was being curious in their questions?
So it would be something soft, a tone that really conveyed love and acceptance, something like, tell me more about that. Help me understand what that was like for you. Help me understand what's going on inside of you right now. So it would be a loving, warm tone, and full of acceptance, and really focused on what's happening inside of the person.
And what would interrogation, on the other hand, sound like?
It would sound like, what were you thinking? Why did you do that? How could you do that? I know you did that. You know, the whole bad cop routine.
And this is all kind of like theoretical, right?
Yeah,
because
I would never happen.
I would never say
that
those questions to you. I'm sorry, sweetheart.
You know, it's hard when we have, and we've talked about this before, when our fear gets up and running, and if we can't press pause and regulate our emotions and breathe, any question we ask is probably going to be more interrogation and not curiosity.
Well, to me, it helps me recognize that what's happening inside of me will kind of determine the mode of my questions.
Right.
And if I am, if I'm letting my emotions, especially negative emotions, fear, frustration, anxiety, get the best of me, I'm probably going to slide into interrogation mode. So I've got to calm down. I've got to take a deep breath. I've got to make sure that I'm maybe even honest about my emotions and tell you what's going on. You know, but just being aware of what's going on inside of me and recognizing that what's happening inside of me will determine how I ask my questions.
Absolutely.
So, Melissa, lastly, you know, I guess I wanted to share this. Sometimes I'm not aware that I've slipped into interrogation mode, and it's very helpful to me at times when you kind of give me some immediate feedback using those IFAB tools. You know, hey Troy, right now I feel interrogated. I feel judged. I feel a lot of pressure here. And when you say that, sometimes I'm able to kind of recognize what's going on and shift my perspective to, you know what, I'm sorry. Let me kind of take a step back here and let me reset. And now let me try to come at this from a place of genuine curiosity. Because again, even if you've actually said something or done something that was genuinely hurtful, interrogation's not going to connect us through that. I've got to get to a place where I can understand your heart and see what was going on inside of you when that happened. And the end result of that is we can be connected. So what else in conclusion would you say about this whole issue of questions and curiosity and interrogation as we wrap up?
So I think it's really important to understand what's happening in us. If we're afraid, it's going to be really hard to connect. And so sometimes it's better to just press pause, take a walk, regulate, and then come back to the table and say, hey, can I really ask you what's happening? I'm in owning our own emotions and then really getting curious about the heart of another.
Because remember, the goal of curiosity is to know someone so that you can connect with them, to know their heart, to know what's going on inside of them. Whereas the goal of interrogation is to know facts, to get information in order to prove your point or to protect yourself or to stay in control. And I know what Melissa and I want. We want to be connected. Yeah. And we know that curiosity, not interrogation, connects us. And I know you guys want the same. So let me encourage you, next time you're having a difficult conversation, make sure that as you ask those questions, you're coming at it from a place of curiosity, genuine interest rooted in acceptance and love, not judgment, not fear, with the agenda of knowing someone's heart, knowing them better so that y'all can connect together.
Which brings us to our big question.
We have a question for you. So here's what we need. We need your help. We want Hope for Today to be exactly what you need and want it to be. So our question is this: what questions, topics, or issues would you like us to talk about? Is there a specific question that's been on your heart that you would like to hear Melissa and I address? Is there something that we could discuss that would help and encourage you? We want Hope for Today to be us sharing our life authentically with you so that your marriage, your relationships, your recovery can all be strong and better. So right below me, you'll see my email address, troy.haas@hopequestgroup.org. Also down in the information section of this video, you'll see my address, my email address as well. Or in the comments section, one of those places, please email me or write in the comments section what we can answer for you. What questions would you like to see us answer on a future episode of Hope for Today? As always, like this video. Please like this video. Please share this video with someone else that would benefit from knowing the right way to ask questions. And know that we are grateful for you, and we'll see you next week.